Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us today. I think we've just given it a couple of minutes, so we'll probably have some more people join in. But I figured let's go ahead and get started with the webinar on new and improved platinum level features. First of all, my name is Ben. I'm one of the tech support guys over here at IDX Broker. I'm joined today with Bao. He's having a little trouble logging in, but he'll be keeping an eye on the chat as we go forward. So if you have questions along the way, he'll probably be in there in just a few minutes to help answer your questions. But I'll also be in there keeping an eye on it. But let's just go ahead and get started. Today, the overall outline for what we're going to cover today is just some of the things that we came up with last year in terms of new features that we've added to IDX Broker. So it's just to let you know that we're always looking to improve. And then today specifically, we're going to be talking about some platinum level features that came out last year. The first one we're going to talk about is our new results page template called Home Atlas. I believe it was released November last year, but it's essentially a new results page template that's very similar to like how you have it on Zillow or Trulia. There's a map over on the left-hand side, and then we list out the listings over on the right-hand side in these cell containers. It's also mobile responsive, so somebody looking at it on a mobile device, it's going to automatically shrink down to fit. So we'll go over that in more detail later. Probably touch on some of the things that you can do in terms of receiving text message notifications whenever a new lead signs up. That's not on the agenda, but I wanted to make sure we touch on that as well, since that was a new feature we added too. We're also going to talk about some new marketing options with Facebook dynamic ads. That was something that came out a little bit earlier last year, sometime in February. But yeah, essentially all you need is just a Facebook business account, and then it allows you to kind of keep track of overall click traffic from Facebook. So there's a way that you can embed pixels and keep track of it that way. We've also got new search functionality available in the form of sold listings. So with Platinum, we have reduced the price for getting sold data through your MLS. It's just $9.99 additional per month. And then we also built out some new functionality where you can kind of create a rolling sold listings page or widget or save search for your leads that you have on your account. So it just essentially creates like newest sold properties. So we'll go over how to build those out in just a bit here. And then we will have a little bit of time at the end to go over some questions that you may have there. But let's go ahead and get started then. So first things first, you get into the dashboard, and something I also like to, let me just make sure that I show you this first. A good thing that we have available on our knowledge base is our new features support article. This is a good one to just kind of bookmark. A lot of people have this saved, and so it just lets you know any new features that we've added. We're always improving, so we try to keep this updated as often as we can. So then, we have this ongoing thing. So I'd probably recommend just bookmarking this, keeping this handy, because it's a good resource to come and check out later. But in case, let's go back to the dashboard. So we're going to go specifically over some platinum level features. And if you ever wanted to upgrade to platinum, if you currently have a light level account, you can always come here to the account section and then go to account info. Oh no, sorry. You'd actually want to go to the upgrade center. And then this is where you can adjust the account type. So if you have light and we're thinking of going to platinum, you would just agree down here below to change the account. Check the box yes, and then hit submit now. So, you can upgrade or downgrade at any time. There'll just be a prorated charge or prorated credit added to the next monthly billing cycle. Let's start by going over Home Atlas. So let's just go to one of our search pages here. So I'm in my account here. So if we go to designs, pages, and if I do an advanced search, so this is what my search pages will look like. And let's just say I just wanted to look for this. So this is our Home Atlas template. So if we look here, you'll see that we have the map over on the left-hand side, and then there's all the different map pins. And then over on the right are the specific properties and the listing data in the form of these different cells and everything. So a couple of things that you can do here is if you go and hover over some of the map pins, you'll see that there's a price that hovers over it. And also you'll see, like, if I hover over this property, over on the right-hand side here, it will just kind of highlight the property in question. So that's just kind of a good way. It makes it easy for people coming to your search pages to know exactly like what property they're looking at. Another thing you can do is, let's say I zoom in, and if I click on this particular like map pin, Over on the right, it will just zoom right to that property, have it highlighted. So I'm like, all right, I wanted to look at this property. And then it takes me right there. So it just makes it easier for people to find the properties that they want to be looking at. So that's a good feature, definitely. And then, since you have Platinum, you can also use the polygon functionality that's available. So, you can always refine your search just by like clicking this icon. Maybe I just wanted to narrow it down to Salem, and then just wait for that to reload here. Then it will, bring up properties based on that little radius circle. So it's a good way to refine your search. You've also got other refinement options available through Home Atlas. So if you just click here, this is where you can go to adjust, or anyone viewing this particular results page can refine their search. And then, let's say I wanted it to be in the 500,000 price range to the 1.5 million range. Then it's just going to refine the search for me, bring up the properties based on the criteria I came up with before. And yeah, so I mean, that's a good feature for sure. Definitely recommend playing around with this a little bit. It's also mobile responsive. So, if we view this in a mobile format, it's just going to automatically shrink down the fit. And then this was what it would look like on like an iPhone or a tablet or something like that. So if you scroll down, it has the properties in these little containers that people can click on. You can also, from this page, just view the map by clicking show map. And then people will have this, and then they can just swipe around and then refine their search that way. So yeah, I mean, Home Atlas is something new, and we're really excited to share it with people. And I definitely recommend playing around with it a little bit. Some other things that are nice is that, somebody clicks on this little heart over in the upper right-hand corner. And if they don't have a lead, or if they're not signed up as a lead on the account, it would open up with the sign-up form. So, people can link their Facebook or their Google account if you have that enabled, and then, or they can just fill out this form too. And then that's how they sign up as a lead in this system. But if they're already signed into their lead account, it's just going to add it as a saved property on their account. Let me make sure that I show you where the setting is in order to adjust this, if you wanted to enable Home Atlas. So if we go back here, and it's just going to be under Designs and then Pages. And then on this page, you will just go down here to the Results Pages section. And then where you see Results, you would just come over here to where it says Edit, and then click it to change the page layout. And then it takes you to the area where you can change the template for your pages. And it should be just here in the upper right-hand corner called Home Atlas. If you don't have it enabled, all you have to do is just click Activate, and then it would just turn on right then and there. Your results pages would update right there. Yeah, definitely recommend enabling that. That's one of our newest ones that we've created, and we're really excited to share it with everybody because I know that we've been getting that question a lot. I want my pages to look more like, Trulia or Zillow, so this is sort of our response to that. Going back to this page, so if somebody, saves a property, they can link their Facebook or their Google account. And if they sign up as a lead, you can also receive a text message notification as soon as they create an account with you. That's another new platinum level feature that we added. And in order to enable that, that's just going to be under leads and lead registration preferences. And once you go there, you would just want to make sure that you click on the advanced tab. It might take you to this page under the simple approach, but you would just click it on advanced. And then under the sign up page tab, you would just scroll down here to the bottom, and where it says SMS alerts, you would just toggle this to yes, and then provide your phone number, whatever number you would want to receive those text messages at. Once you do that, there will be a test text that gets sent to that phone number. And what happens is, as soon as somebody signs up as a lead, you would receive a text message that has any contact information that they've provided, either in the form of the sign-up form or if they logged in via Facebook or Google. So that would be how you would get that information, and then you'd be able to reach out to them right then and there. So definitely recommend playing around with that for sure. Let's go over some of the things we have in place for playing around with the Facebook dynamic ads. That's a new feature that we added last year. The way that you can do that, essentially it's a way that you can link your featured listings on your IDX Broker account to, if you have a Facebook business account, that would be how you would link those two items up. So I think with Facebook business, you can just create one of your own accounts right then and there. Pretty easy to sign up. I would just search for it on Google, and then it will link to your Facebook account. On the IDX Broker side, all you would have to do is just come to Designs and then Pages. And then towards the bottom here, there's a section called Other Pages. And then you see that under Facebook, you would just click Edit, and then it will take you to this page. But the setting you would want to adjust is just going to be in the Settings tab. So from here, you just scroll down to the area where it says dynamic ads. If it's toggled to no, you would just want to toggle that option to yes. And then what would happen is there would be this XML file that gets generated by IDX Broker. I suggest giving it about 24 hours for it to propagate in order for that to come through. But there are some steps on the Facebook side that would have to be set up there. We have a good support article, at least on how that is in regards to our system. So I definitely, it's linked right here where you can click here to learn more. And then it goes over the steps that are required on our side in order to get everything all set up there. So definitely recommend playing around with that. There's a lot of other settings that you can adjust on the Facebook side. I'll admit I'm not as familiar with that, but I know that on our side, this should be all you have to do in order to get that XML file in there. There's also the spot here for the Facebook pixel ID. So it makes it really easy with Facebook to just link up any pixels that you may have through that system. Instead of putting in the, there's this embed code that you can embed on any of your IDX Broker pages. It makes it easier just to, if you have a specific Facebook pixel ID, that you can just insert it there. So if you have your business manager pulled up, there should be a section here where if you just open up the menu, and then under the measure and report section, there's a list of any pixels that you may have. And then in order to get that pixel ID, and see there's my pixel that I created, and then here's the pixel ID. So you just need to copy and paste that onto the IDX Broker side, and then that's all you'd have to do just to hit save changes. You probably don't want to use both the embed code and the pixel ID. You would probably just want to do one or the other. That way, your tracking would be more accurate that way. Yeah, so that's another platinum level feature that we've added on the IDX Broker side. So that's one that was another popular request. Another thing, let's go over sold data as well. That's something that a lot of people have requested, and more people want sold data available from their MLS. Make sure that I close some of these tabs here. And in order to enable sold data on your account, it's pretty easy. You just have to go to account and then again go to the upgrade center. And then if we have sold data available from your MLS, you would just go over here. You'd see there's this tab for sold data. So if it is available, you would click on that and then just check the box to enable it. And then you would just hit submit now. If you're not seeing it available on your upgrade center, you can always reach out to us at the support team, or you can also reach out to our MLS team. Best way to get a hold of them would be sending an email to mlsinfo@idxbroker.com. So that's probably the quickest way that you can get in touch with our MLS team if in case you wanted to inquire about sold data. But we can definitely get that process started. Mainly it's just us reaching out to the MLS board, seeing if they have it available for IDX. And then we just have to reach out to our data team and make sure that the way that the MLS stores it is the same or matches the way that we would have it stored in our system. So it's just a little process in order to get sold data available there. But if you do have it available, you just, with your platinum level account, you just check the box, then it would add $9.99 to the reoccurring charges that you have on the account. We've also got new functionality for creating saved links and saved searches for the most recent sold properties based on days, weeks, and months that they were sold. So let me just make sure that I go over how to build that real quick here. So if we go to designs, and let's say we want to create a saved link. So we wanted to create a page that has the most recent, sold properties in a particular area. The best way that you can build that out is first you would build a saved link just by creating it using the advanced search option. So if we go to designs, save links, and create, and the next step here, we would just choose a search page to use, and I'll use the advanced search here. We move on to the next step. And then, maybe I just want to have just sold properties. I'll just make sure that that's set as the status. And then I don't want there to be a price restriction. Let's say I just want to see any sold properties in the city of Eugene. So I'll just put that in there. Yeah, if you can make this more specific. I'll just leave it at that. And then I'll just move on to the next step here. And I'll give this page a title. So we'll just call this Eugene sold. And then I'll just hit save and manage links. Looks like I already created that. So I'll just Eugene sold too. Okay, and so there we've got the saved link here, and then we can always preview it and see what it looks like. I'll just make sure we're coming back with some results here. Okay, yeah, so it looks like these are recently sold properties in the Eugene area. If you wanted to narrow that down, maybe I only wanted to come back with properties that were sold in the last 2 weeks or so. The way that you would do that is once the saved link has already been created, you would just go over here to edit the search criteria, and then from there, you would just toggle this option to edit the link by hand. And then in this section here, this is actually showing you the search query that's created for, the search itself. And all you would have to do in order to, add in another variable there, I would just hit the ampersand sign and then add a min equals. And then if I wanted it to be like 2 weeks time, all I would have to do is just hit 2 and then W. And that should be all you have to do and all you have to add to that query. And so if we refresh this saved link, it should come back with a lot less property. It looks like it's coming back with the same results, but let me just go back into the search criteria. I think it might not have weeks available. So I believe it's just all you have to do is just come back with 7 days. Let's just put that in and then we'll just refresh this page. There we go. I think I'm just leaving a variable out. I think we just have to put in these brackets and then that should be all we have to do. Well, let me pull up the support article that we have on this. This might be a good way to go. So if we just go with sold properties, amin underscore sold date. That's what it is. See, I knew that we had that available. Amin. So I'm just going to, this is probably the easiest way to do that, is just to copy this code here and then just add this into the search criteria. So we're just going to do that. Yeah, I definitely recommend keeping this code safe. I thought I had it written off to the side. But if we refresh this, it's going to come back with a lot fewer properties that way. So this is the way that you can have that. There we go. Yep, I was just putting it in wrong. So you're coming back with 60 results, and it's only going to come back with properties from the last 2 weeks' time. So that would be the way that you can build that out if you wanted to do it that way. There is another way that you can have it built with a range of dates. Yeah, so Dominic, I see your comment there. The way that you can do that is, if you wanted to, there's 2 ways that you can set that up. You can have it set up using this search query approach, but I would say the better way to do it is just to make sure that that's an advanced field that you have on the search page that you use. So if we wanted to set a range of dates, what we would do is under advanced search, then fields. Yeah, we're back under designs and then pages. And then, so if we wanted to use the advanced search page to build this out, we would just click fields. And then we're just going to make sure that we have that field available. So I'm just going to pull up this MLS, going to look for residential properties. Then I'm going to click view settings and we'll wait for that to load. And then, we have these fields that are here. And then in the filter field section, I'm just going to search for sold. So from here, we've already got the minimum sold date that's in the field. So that's probably the one that we want to use. So from there, we would just set it to a minimum and maximum field. And then this would be the way that you would build it out based on a date range. If we wanted to use the search query approach, you can also, within the saved link settings, I'm just going to refresh this and make sure we have the most up-to-date one. We can also just take this and then instead of it being a min, have it set to a max. And so this would be the minimum sold date would be 14 days. And then I can also have this set to, like 30 days or something like that. So that would be a way, and then it would dynamically adjust as the days go forward. So it would only come back with properties that were sold 2 weeks ago and then at the end of the month if we wanted to create something like that. So if we refresh this ought to narrow it down even further. Yep, looks like we're coming back with no results there. But yeah, that would be the way that you would narrow it down if you wanted to use the search query approach. But yeah, just a couple new features that we've added there. I know that there was a lot of, questions about people using sold listings. And in addition, you can create saved links this way. You can also, it would be the exact same process for building out a widget using this approach too. The difference is that, once you create a widget's something you put on one of your own pages. So you would just want to use, we would go to designs, widgets, and then create. And, if I want to create a showcase widget, under properties to feature, I would just use custom search. And then it would be the exact same process that we had before. So I'd use the advanced search page and then build out my search. And then from there, go into the settings and then adjust that search query that way. So that's probably the best way to do it. And then you can also, with your leads, it's going to be the same process as well. So if you go to leads, and then manage, you can create any saved searches for your leads that way too. So if we go, let's say for Mike Smith, we wanted to create a new saved search for him. He was asking about, he's a seller, so I wanted to create a new saved search that way. I would just click add, edit, save searches. From there, I would just click add here to add a saved search. And then, again, this is going to be the same steps that we went through before. Just set it via the advanced search. I'll just quickly make this here. Move on to the next step. We'll just call this one demo sold search. And then, for safe searches, you can also leave the box checked if you want the leads to receive updates whenever new properties come on there. So we can just save those changes. And so once the save search has been created for your lead, you can go here to click Edit Save Search. So this will take you into the settings of the save search itself. And then from there, you can adjust the search criteria from here. Let's go back because I think, for save searches, we just want to view the details as well. So this is going to be the search query that's created. And then the way that you would do it is you would just take this search query and then copy it and then add amin and then however far you want it to go back in the search. So this would be just, amin, like 14 days if we wanted it to go back 2 weeks time, for example. But yeah, with sold searches, we're always looking for ways to improve on this feature. So this was a new functionality that we have, and I believe that we do have some enhancement requests for making this a little bit more user-friendly. But regardless, that's the way that if you wanted to query for a dynamically changing sold, data feed, that would be the way that you could build it on our system there. But we're always excited to hear from what people have in terms of that, like what they're interested in using sold data for. So that's always something that we're looking to improve on, but we're always happy to receive feedback on that for sure. But those are just a handful of some of the new features. Definitely excited to share Home Atlas. That's one of the biggest things, and how a lot of our developers have spent their time building that out and making sure that it's available for anyone that has a platinum level account. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Again, as Bal mentioned earlier, this is going to be recorded and then it will be on our YouTube channel or also on our Academy page, which is at learn.idxbroker.com, in case you ever needed to refresh on some of this. Or I know it was a lot of items that we went over today, but you can always refer back to this later as well. Let me just go back to the slide here. I have a little bit of time left. I'm interested in seeing if anybody has any questions here. Let me just check in, and I'm gonna check on the chat. Yeah, Bal has been trying to answer any questions as we go forward, but Mark, that's a good suggestion for sure. So just highlighting the box to make it a thicker border, just to make it stand out a little bit more. Yeah, that's a good idea. I know that for any of our if you wanted to do that yourself, I know that for our pages, there's an area where you can adjust the CSS. I'm sure that we should be able to adjust that. If we go to designs, then custom CSS, this is where you can make any custom style changes, or if somebody else is working on the site, you can probably adjust that border width as well. Yeah, that's a good idea though. Definitely want to make sure that we're keeping up with that. Yeah, Alexandra, that is definitely possible. So we would just want to, if you wanted to create a neighborhood or communities page using that sold data, it's just another step that we would do in the, creating it via the advanced search. So you could just go to design, save links, and then create. And using the advanced search page would be the one to use, because that will be the search page that pulls in your MLS's particular fields and statuses and property types. So if we did that, we just go over the advanced search. And then under these advanced settings here, of course, depending on your MLS, these fields might look different, but you should see a field down here such as area or subdivision, which will probably have the neighborhoods that you're looking at there. So we just want to make sure that that's selected when initially creating the search. And then from there, you can also add in the sold date for in the field, or you can do it via the custom query that we went over earlier. So that would be the way that you can do that. Oh yeah, Brady, going back real quick here. If we go to, if you wanted to check and see where the settings are to integrate that Facebook functionality, that will just be under designs and then pages. And then down here towards the bottom, under other pages, it would just be the Facebook area. You would just click edit there. And then it's just going to be over here in the settings tab. So these are the settings particularly for your Facebook dynamic ads. Gerald, yeah, let me make sure. There is a setting that you have to set if you wanted to make sure that that map is coming through. That's just going to be under preferences and then global preferences. So what might be happening is if you go there and then if you click on map in the tab below, this all results page maps is probably set to no. You would just want to make sure that that's set to yes. and then hit Save Changes at the bottom. So that's the only setting that you would probably have to adjust in order to make sure that that map comes through. Barbara, to answer your question, there is a way that you can just look up our webinar on YouTube or our Academy page. But I could probably just send out a mass email to everyone that's attended here today, just to make sure that they get the link to our webinar. It just might take it a little bit of time. We have to upload it to YouTube, and then once that's done, we can send out the webinar to everyone who attended today. Mark, to answer your question about the open report, we do have the ability to save searches using sold data, so people would get updates whenever something new comes on the market. In terms of like a market report kind of thing, that isn't something that we currently have, but we have been hearing a lot of requests about that. So that's definitely something that the marketing team and the development team have on their agenda for sure. Because we keep getting, on the support side, I always hear questions about that. So we don't have it yet, but I definitely think that's going to be something new for 2019. Don't quote me on that, but I know that we definitely hear that question a lot. Yeah, so if we wanted to take a quick look at what a sold property page looks like, we could just go here, and then I'll just do a quick sold property search. So if we do that, I'll just make sure that sold is selected. But yeah, so if we look at this particular sold property, it will take them into somebody coming to the page to a details page. And then from here, the default fields that we have is it's sold for this. It will give you the sold date that is provided by the MLS, and then any of the other relevant details that we have available. And then yeah, if you needed to adjust any of these fields that are showing up, maybe you don't want to show all of these fields, that is another setting that can be adjusted on the IDX Broker side. That can just be found under here, under details pages. And then you would just come over here to the field section. And then again, the same steps as you would for creating a advanced search page. You would just come over here, click, and then you would choose the property type, click View Settings. And then this will take you into the area where you can adjust specifically what information shows up in the containers. So, this container might be way too much information. I can always click the X to remove certain features if I don't want those to be showing up. If I'm not seeing a particular field that I wanted to have show up, I can always take a look here over in the right-hand side, and these are the available fields that the MLS is providing us. If you know this specific field, you can also just type it in. So, if I knew, wanted to look for like waterfront or something like that, or, it's going to narrow down any of the fields. So you don't have to just constantly scroll through all of these fields there. And then once you've adjusted that, you can just click Save Property Type Layout, and then that would update for any of your details pages that way. Any other questions? If you don't think of something right now, you can always feel free to reach out to us. It's help@idxbroker.com is going to be the email to use. But you can also reach out to us on the support team just anytime from 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So we're not open on the weekends, but that's the best time to get a hold of us. Our number is 800-421-9668. And that would be the best way to reach out to us if you needed to follow up on any of this and make sure that it's working with your account and everything, or if you just needed to explore some of this functionality going forward there. Oh, Mark, if you needed to reach out to see if your MLS provides sold data, best way, you can either feel free to call in on the support team, and then we can, follow up on that. You can also email our MLS team directly by sending an email to mlsinfo@idxbroker.com. And then that would be the way they could reach out to the MLS. If there isn't a ticket that's already created to make sold data available, we'll make sure that that's created, and then we do some research and get that process started for you. Okay, but yeah, like I said before, we're going to have this webinar recorded, so you can always feel free to reach back out to us and then, refer back to this going forward. And yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free. Any of the ways that I talked about before would be the best. Either sending an email, or you can give us a call. Or if you're already within the IDX Broker account, you can also reach out to us via live chat. There would just be this icon in the lower right-hand corner that we just need to click on to get on with one of us there. But thank you for joining us. We'll have this up, and I'll make sure that we get that sent out to you too with any of this information. But feel free to reach out to us again. We're happy to help you further. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.